Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by. So this morning, what I'm doing here, Thursday and Friday are shop weekends. That's a good time for me to do focused work. And this morning, I am doing part flattening and grinding. I'm working on these GSO 5.1s, and I just want to explain what I'm doing this morning, but also for the makers and things out there. I see this as a big enough issue that there's actually a few makers who have started making peening hammers. That's directly the result of MagnaCut warping that we're seeing out in the world. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, what I'm seeing, and maybe it'll help somebody. So this morning we've already rough ground these parts post heat treat to get nice normalized side 1 and side 2. We suck it down to the magnet, but that doesn't take the stress out of the parts. So what I'm looking at here is a little bit of rocker in this part. Hopefully that shows up well enough. And what I'm gonna do is just slowly work this surface here in different areas where I see there's a little retained stress from in the material that just gets baked in there when you harden the material. So then that stays, and you've got to work it out mechanically. It's a little weird to try and temper flatten it. They've done that up at Peter's already. And what we're realizing is there's just retained stress in the parts, I believe, in my opinion, from the original rolling of the sheets up at Niagara Specialty Metals. But early testing has indicated ahead of any hardening, after we cut our parts out and get them ground like this, when they're nice and flat, what we're trying to work out here is doing a full anneal ahead of any processing. That seems to be getting some of that retained stress out from processing. Now, looking at the data sheet and having the information I have that came out during the decarburization era, my next question is the temperature that they're calling out for annealing. Is that actually the most ideal annealing temperature for this grade of material, or do they publish those numbers because that's what they're doing up there at processing anyway? So that's a big question in my mind. Right now, they've got the annealing temps at, I believe, 1600, 1650. But that is just how Niagara Specialty Metals rolls all of their materials. So I'm not sure if that's the most accurate, where we're gonna get all of the stress out of this, but as we start ramping up our MagnaCut, I do think that a full anneal of the parts in a vacuum furnace will get a lot of the stress out of here, so that we do, coming back, have flatter and flatter parts. That's tested out pretty well with a few grades. Just where we know we're putting it in there for a really long, slow anneal. That seems to get a lot of the retained stress out of there from processing this material from billets down into sheets. So I'm really happy about that. I like things to be consistent. So the fact that we have to do much of this at all bothers me, especially looking at the Bowler and Udahome steels, where this is just a pro forma thing to get a few little things out. It's never been very much. So that's what's going on. And if you are having problems with getting flat parts, if you're a maker, please know you can buy peening hammers. There's guys out there putting carbide inserts. It's like a carbide ball, and I saw another guy putting a side screw insert into here so that you can directly peen like that. I don't like you can send a lot of energy into this directly hitting it. So what I prefer to do is I work off of this metal anvil down here. Hopefully we can still see. And I just have an old, almost flat ground piece of carbide here. And what I do is just tap on the parts a little bit here in a really controlled manner, just to work out some of that stress in these areas that are causing that bow. And then we'll grind all of that off, and that gets rid of that surface stress that we created with this. It just normalizes what's going on inside the part to get the part to be flat. So we'll grind it off after in finish grinding, and then we do that whole stress relieving peen, which makes the surface really, really resilient and resistant to crack propagation. And then after that, we put our aesthetic tumble finish on it. So that's just explaining a bit of the process here this morning, some of the struggles we've had with the MagnaCut and what we're doing to handle that. But to anyone out there, this is a very standard industry practice. If you care about really flat parts, this is just something that's always happened behind the scenes, and we're not taking our day out on the parts. So don't worry, I still fully stand behind all these on warranty. We're just getting a little retained stress out in areas where there's just some irregular things, I believe, from just the initial rolling of the sheets. So I'm gonna get back to work, but just wanted to bring you guys in here in the shop this morning and let you know what's going on, and just some of the little things we do to keep that quality really high. Everybody says they make quality, but it's all these little intentional steps along the way that creates that consistent result that ensures a quality tool lands in your hand. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk to you again soon.